Down to a best of three in the Stanley Cup Final. Kind of get annoyed when people say that. It's Millard and Shannon on 100% hockey.
You just
best
said it.
I know. And as I said it, I'm like, that's one of the things that I criticize all the time. What am I doing? And it's not even fair to say it's a best of three because nothing about this series is traditional in any which way.
No, you're right. It has, what has happened is that we have seen teams that don't make very many mistakes, particularly in these playoffs, make a ton of mistakes. And then the opposition's able to take advantage of it. You know, when you talk about, Carter Hart on the first goal, when you talk about Shea Theodore on the winning goal, too many mistakes. And Carolina has made just as many in their own zone. It is, I'm going to date myself, and I never met him, but Lester Patrick always coined the phrase, hockey is a game of mistakes, and we have been witness to that for these 4 games, and it has made for great hockey. These two coaches are not having a good time. They're not enjoying it because they want to play perfect hockey, and perfect hockey is not necessarily fun to watch. This, because it's not perfect, is really fun to watch.
Update, Rod Brindamore saying, we're not going to discuss the lineup. We haven't even met as a staff yet. It's too early in the morning. That's today on the travel day going to Game 5 regarding his Game 5 goaltender tomorrow night.
Okay, so I'm going to announce it right here. Brandon Bussi starting for Carolina.
How would you ever go away from him?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying it. I'm sticking my neck out. I'm going with Brandon Bussi for Game 5. How did you think he played?
I thought he was good. He wasn't perfect, but for a first ever playoff start in the Stanley Cup Final, in the first year of being a National Hockey Leaguer, in his mid-20s, there is some scar tissue with him, but not at this level. I thought just keeping him in the game, that was one area where I expected Vegas to take more advantage of, and Carolina was the better team in the first period. They allowed Bussi to get into the game a little bit.
Well, and it does speak to the wisdom of putting him in Game 3 as well. Let him have.
You had no choice
time
there. You couldn't put him in if later in the series. It's too late, right?
We really don't at that point know what Freddie was like. We don't. In fairness, Freddie might have not wanted to play the third period. He might, whether it was the collision with Barbashev or we don't know the
but he didn't dress.
Story. No, but I can understand. I actually, that's one of the things I do understand. And I think it's classic Brindamore. Is, okay, Freddie, we want you to rest. Then rest. And, Kochetkov, we want you to be part of this team too, so we're going to make you the backup. I just think, to me, that's classic Brindamore. To say, we want you to be part of the team, Peter, and come in and be on the bench in this situation while Bussi plays. I just, to me, it was a ton of logic in that scenario and taking all the pressure off of Andersen just to do what he needed to do.
So do you think Freddie Andersen was available?
Yes, I do. I think that if push came to shove and Bussi got hurt and Kochetkov got hurt, Andersen would have played because they were allowed to bring the third goalie back, right?
I know, but here's the thing. Chicago Wolves of the American Hockey League, I'm going down a rabbit hole here, in the Western Conference Final of the American Hockey League playoffs, they switched goaltenders late in that series. I wonder if they had called somebody up to be the third goaltender the other night. And because you don't have to announce your third goalie. Caden Primo could have been in the building. I don't know.
What, you didn't source that out? You didn't see if Caden Primo was there?
It's a madhouse at the Stanley Cup Final. Like
you're telling
goofy.
Me? You're telling me?
Goofy. How many extra people are around the building? I'm not talking about TV people. I'm just talking about people. People that I don't know who you are. I've never seen you before. I'm never going to see you again beyond this series. And there's a group in Carolina, there's a group in Vegas that just show up, and quite frankly, I'm scrambling for a seat. And I don't know who you are over there, but you got a better seat than me.
Yeah. How does that work? You're Daren Millard.
I know.
How does that work?
You don't think I don't know that I'm Daren Millard? I tell people every day that.
Some days it doesn't go over well, though. That's the problem.
I'm in my own house.
Yeah, well, that's different. So, but another fun game to watch. It really was. And you knew that.
I didn't know anything. I don't know anything.
No,
you're saying
you knew at 2-0 that it was not. It was. I mean, you knew that Vegas was going to come back.
I thought Vegas was winning at 3-3. I thought they were. They were the better team. They were making a push. I thought they were winning.
Yeah. It's funny. Both networks. I watched both shows. I think they gave Shea Theodore a pass on the play that he made on the winning goal. It was an awful play. It was awful.
Well,
and I know it went off Stahl's stick or off his skate rather. I know it went off his skate, but you just can't make that pass.
And Vegas has exposed Carolina with the deep pass, the stretch pass for breakaways.
Yeah.
So
yes, but that
odd man rushes.
But there are times where you have to be safe with that. And
you're so conservative.
I am when I am in the third period. I am in the third period
of a tie game in the Stanley Cup Final. Yeah,
I am in the third period. Absolutely. And I did notice that Mr. Tortorella changed his thought process in after going 10 out of 10 on the goalie challenge in game. What was that? Game 2 versus game 3. He didn't do it, so he's 9 out of 10 now. Things change, man. Things change.
Here's my favorite part about game 4.
Or after game 4?
No. During game 4.
Okay.
Vegas puts the puck in the net. Braden McNabb.
Yeah.
At the end of the second period.
Mm-hmm.
As time's winding down. So they go to video review.
Yeah.
0.2 of a second late.
Yep.
As our TV producer, Taylor Quellman, said, should have shot it faster. But 0.2 of a second late. And they announce it in the rink, and the crowd boos. I've never heard a crowd boo the clock before. That's how passionate people are. They're just so involved. And it's frustration, I know, but it came across as you're booing time.
Well, that's
another new one for me.
Hey, listen, I and both fan bases have been spectacular. To watch the Golden Knights fans last night, to watch the Hurricane fans last night too, in Raleigh, sold out at the arena there. Just it has exceeded everyone's expectation of what the Stanley Cup Final was supposed to be. It's amazing.
Lenovo Center.
I don't get paid by Lenovo. I don't need to say Lenovo.
Wasn't it PNC Arena for the longest time?
If they start paying a sponsorship to this podcast, if Lenovo starts paying, then we will say Lenovo.
Mm-hmm.
I find it amazing that people just throw out sponsorships at a whim, thinking, "Well, that's a good name for an arena." They're not paying us to say it. I'm not saying it.
Very short-sighted.
There is some logic to it, isn't there?
There is. I'm just not sure what we call all the arenas then. What do you call the arena in Toronto then?
The arena in Toronto.
They all have the same name.
Inside the
arena in Toronto. And now let's go to the arena in Vancouver.
No, wait. You think about it. Well, welcome back to Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. Just say welcome back to Toronto. It's simple. Unless Scotiabank wants to sponsor this podcast, come on.
Get with it, Scotiabank. My buddy Marty did a NHL alumni dinner with Scotiabank last night. So let's go, Scotiabank. You got money for that.
Or was it in Vegas?
Oh, how about this one? Yeah. Marty was on a golf trip, with a former teammate
Alex
in
Petrangelo,
Scotland.
they went to Scotland. Yeah.
Yeah, they went to Scotland, and he flew back from Scotland to LA, changed planes, flew to Vegas, and got there in the first period of Game 4, all in one day, and then did an alumni dinner.
I tell you what, Alec Martinez is going to be a star. I hope I hope at that point he still talks to us.
Yeah, no chance. He might have already forgotten about you.
I know. I feel that. I don't think he likes me.
But Pronger loves you.
Yes.
Chris Pronger, Hall of Famer. Shane Hnidy, former National Hockey League defenseman, my colleague with the Vegas Golden Knights, broadcast on Script Sports. A couple of defensemen will join us here.
Guys that played on Stanley Cup champion teams. They know all about it.
We'll get their perspective on a 2-2 series in the Stanley Cup Final, which is a best of 3 going forward.
Oh,
it's
don't
100%
say that.
hockey.
Name the arenas, too. Just name the arena names, too. Come on.
Lenovo and T-Mobile. Or as Canadians call it, T-Mobile.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
Just for the record, folks, I've tried to start this conversation 3 times, and Pronger keeps chirping every time I tried. Where are you, Pronger? Let's start there.
I am on the road again. I'm going down, what is this, I-64.
Yeah.
I'm going down I-64 from Evansville, Indiana to St. Louis.
And where are you, Hnidy?
I'm just trying to figure out my internet here at Las Vegas. I'm on my 6th. I feel like Dave Gosher. I'm on my 6th device here trying to figure it out. But hey, I'm on. And I'm not quite as busy as Prongs.
But you are at the Stanley Cup Final.
Yes.
What do you make of Game 4, Nides? And Prongs, you jump in after watching what was a series tying game for Carolina.
Well, obviously I look at it from the Vegas standpoint first. Poor start, fell behind, and then and Tortorella said it. They gifted you look at that game-winning goal, get a big save from your goalie. First of all, it's a turnover. I didn't like the 4 guys in the corner after he made the save. And I think that's what's killing the Golden Knights right now. I really do believe, and I'm not trying to be biased here, I think they have the more high-end talent. That's got to show up a little bit more. I think they're the better team overall. Carolina, though, they play as a team. They're relentless. They stick to their plan. I just think Vegas is giving them too much with mistakes at this point, and they've got to find a way to change that.
I would agree. I would say Vegas yesterday, specifically, as you look at that game, to Shane's point, poor start. Not sure why. You have an opportunity to put a stranglehold on the series, and then to fight your way back. And then really, when you think about it, had the better of the chances before the sloppy play on the winning goal. And the game before Game 3. And really, you could probably pick apart every game, especially I found in the third period, very lackadaisical plays through the middle of the ice, soft plays where they're just not sharp. For whatever reason, you would think that they would be dialed and sharp and tape to tape, and they would be zipping around on all cylinders. And to give Carolina credit, do not waver, regardless of the score, regardless of time frame of the game. They do not waver from how they play the game. They are relentless in the pressure they want to apply. And if you are the Vegas Golden Knights, your star players, your best players, have got to impose their will on the series, and they have to overtake and really be the focal point, if you're Vegas, of what's going to lead you to the promised land and win these games. Now we're at a best of 3 with two games in Carolina. And really, when you look at these games, home ice really hasn't mattered that much
No.
with how these games have played out. So if you're Vegas, you're probably not worried about that. But at some point, that does matter, whether it's, that last line change or whether that's the crowd interaction and electricity and energy in the building, what have you. There's a lot of different things that can play out in these last 3 games.
Firstly, on the winning goal, wasn't one giveaway. There were 2 giveaways. That's the reality. I mean, Shea Theodore, I know that John Tortorella believes safe is death, but that was a terrible pass to try to make up the middle. Terrible. And then the other giveaway, and then the hard work by Jarvis, Ehlers, and Staal paid off. The other thing, guys, and Chris, you touched on it a little bit. Third periods. If I'm John Tortorella, I'm going to the second intermission. I got trepidation about third periods now. Carolina has better third periods. Period. End of story.
Well, I'll just, my one caveat to that is, the Golden Knights, their third periods, but you look at game 2, they were in complete control. They had a bad 10 minutes. In game 3, they had a bad 2-minute, 39 seconds.
Yeah,
they've been in control a lot. There's these mental breakdowns that are just terrific. They control the majority of games, but they realize Carolina, they're not changing. As Pronger just said, they play, and it just shows you how dialed in you have to be. You cannot take your foot off the gas. I believe there should have been a timeout when it went 4-2 in game 3. After the 2 quick goals, then there was 3 quick goals. But from our standpoint, it's always, and this is where I always catch myself being in this so long. It's so easy to judge from up top rather than being in. But they've got to minimize. They've got to realize that you cannot let up for a second against this Canes team, which is a credit to them. And I just think that it's an interesting series because it's 2-2, could easily be 3-1 for either side. It's just the way you look at it. But it's probably what it deserves right now is a best of 3. And unless those top players, and Prongs, you're one of them, unless they're going to step up, because that to me is going to be the only difference here for the Golden Knights if they want to go forward.
What impressed you the most about Carolina? Just from I know you look at it from a Vegas angle, but to step back 20,000 feet, Shane, what grabs you the most about what Carolina has been able to do, and then we get Prongs jump in again?
To me, Carolina, they're just the same. It's nothing. The one thing that stepped out for me is Jordan Staal. Mm-hmm. He is. Talk about your top players, your captain leading the way. Wow, he is
37.
He has been a force for them, in my opinion.
Prongs?
Yeah. How about, and we didn't talk about his second effort on that goal.
Yeah.
Falling down, swiping at it, the will and want to try to stay alive, to get to the loose puck, to get it in. And to Knide's point, to me, he's been their most consistent and most dangerous player. And he's utilized his size to his advantage every step of the way, imposing his will at times throughout the course of the playoffs. And you think about the beginning of the Ottawa series, fighting Brady Tkachuk off the opening faceoff all the way through. He has been an important part of the process for Carolina.
Well, and Torch doesn't say much, but he admitted last night, he's like, Jordan Staal is owning us in front of the net.
And in the faceoff dot, right? Yeah. Like you think of those key draws at key times. He is the guy. He's been a huge difference maker. And to me, that speaks of a veteran guy too, that realizes it's been so long since he's been there. Now that he's back, he wants to be the difference.
Shane, how much of a learning curve is it for a guy like Dorofeev?
It's been a big learning curve, right? But that's kind of been his pattern all year, and Millard's seen it too. He's either on or he's off, and when he's on, he is on. It's like the goals come in bunches. Remember my old minor league or minor coach when I was like 12. He's like, "Oh, it's all right, boys. Goals come like grapes in bunches." Well, that's kind of like Dorofeev, and right now it's an empty basket.
Need some more fruit, some apples in there, or go to the cookie. The cookie jar's empty.
Oh, he needs something to go. And yeah, I think it's harder this time. And that's a line that's kind of been hot and cold. To me, the Carlson, Marner, Howden line has been the most dangerous. And they need more of that.
Actually, it was fascinating to listen to Tortorella after the game when somebody said, you need more from your first line. He said, which is our first line? I mean, because I think that speaks to what Marner did. I mean, and Mitch continues to be Mitch, I think. I mean, the play he made on the Carlson goal to start the Carlson goal was as good as you're going to find. But you have to wonder how much help he's getting from some of the other stars. Like, where
well, Jack was good last night. Jack had chances last night, and Stone scored.
I know. My question was: is Jack unfairly getting criticism?
I think so. Like, he's not scoring at the pace that he would like, right, Shane?
Well, here's the issue. Here's the issue. The other guy he's going head to head with is we already talked about Jordan Staal. So we talked before this season started, or this series started. This was going to be some matchups, and one of them was going to be Staal versus Eichel.
Yeah,
Bronx.
Let me ask you guys this question, and you guys are both there. I didn't see enough desperation from Jack Eichel. To me, I know he had a couple of really good chances, but I didn't see the desperation like I saw from Jordan Staal to score that goal. He had some great chances. He still looks like he's just kind of zipping around out there and not understanding the magnitude of the moment.
So what does desperation look to you?
Well, I'd like to see more direct play. We're against Carolina, I think, and this is Vegas. Sure, the shots, I know they suppress. I think they put themselves in shooting position and they look for the extra play. It's been something for years.
Yes.
We've watched with this team. They look for the extra play too much. I think Jack's one of those guys. When he shot, he had finally on the power play, he took a one-timer. How many have we seen this year? He hit the crossbar. He had Bussi beat, hit the crossbar in the third period. I want to see more of that. To me, that's more desperation, just putting it to the net. More direct plays, more simple plays, more, okay, we're not going to be able to finesse this around Carolina. Let's just pound it. Let's we have the ability to make plays when they're there, but we don't have to do it every time.
When I think about Jack Eichel and I look at the Olympics, he played incredible. But in that final game with everything on the line, they got cute. They didn't take what was given to them. They always try opportunity. There has to be, instead of take the chance you have. You don't know how many you're going to get against Carolina. That's the thing.
That's true.
And last night I saw over and over, they kept trying to constantly carry the puck through the neutral zone and then carry it over the blue line. And as Carolina kept pressing up, they refused to just soft chip and get it in. At times they did in certain moments, but it didn't become a wave after wave scenario that's going to apply more pressure and push Carolina to back off the line to buy you more time.
Well, and to Prong's point, their power play. Like, I'm not a power play expert, but I played the penalty kill. When they're looking for the plays to the outside, it's the easiest thing to kill. I'm just going to stand knowing they're not going to take a shot. Their last power play goal was Hurdle's goal. Started with a face-off win. Marner shot it. Puck recovery. Now as a penalty kill, you got to readjust. Hurdle scored, right? It pulls you out. You look at last night, they finally did on that last one. They had the best chances there in the third period. But before that, their power play, which has been good all year, but it's different in playoff. And Carolina is an excellent penalty kill team.
Yeah.
They've got to establish a threat of a shot from different areas rather than looking for the back door, the play off the goal line, or, they've got to establish more of a shot mentality, a shot threat. And then the puck recovery leads. That's when, as a penalty killer, okay, now you're out of it. But if they're just going to pass around, I'm like, that's fine. You guys just move it around the outside. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. If you don't ever get into the interior, the box doesn't have to really move all that much.
No.
And who's supposed to do that for Vegas? Who is that supposed to be? Because Jack Eichel plays on the outside. Marner, I mean, who is that? Mark Stone? I mean, who is that? Hurdle? Who's it supposed to be?
I think it's Jack. I think off that flank where he is a lot, he, like we saw last night, he took the shot at a crossbar, but I'd like to see more of that. Or Marner's good at up top to get the shot through. I just think they look through, or Stone, because they're gonna protect Dorofeev, right?
They're
He's the guy
taking
who loves the
Dorofeev
power
away,
play.
right?
They're taking him away. So you either got to walk the goal line. And again, I'm not a power play. This is probably more for Prongs. I think they've got to establish a threat, whether, Stone's going to take it to the net, or Eichel's going to shoot from the point, or Marner's going to look for that high tip from Hurdle. Those three, to me, are the immediate thoughts that come to me for the initial. And then getting the puck back. If it doesn't go in, then you get the puck back. Now you start to make things. Then the other plays, the seams might open up.
To me, against especially this Carolina penalty kill, which is excellent, as Shane just said, in order to beat that type of pressure and the way that they are constant, they don't give you time and space anywhere on the ice in the offensive zone. In order to beat that, to Shane's point, it has to be right off of you got to win draws, number one. But number two, it has to be a shot first mentality to get the box to move, and then it's about winning those loose puck battles, getting to the errant pucks first, rebounds, loose pucks, etc., to then create those seam opportunities through the box. Then you're getting the box running out of position and moving around, and they're not in sync. It has to come off a shot attempt, typically from the middle of the ice. You might not think you're going to hit the net, but you have to get it towards there, and then everybody has to converge on the net and really apply more pressure to the defense of Carolina during their PK.
Saw how valuable a shot towards the net would be just based on the double overtime winner the other night. Let's pause it and we'll take a break, and we'll come back more with Shane Hnidy and Chris Pronger on 100% Hockey.
With the NHL app, you can listen to every NHL game right from your phone. And with home and away broadcast feeds, you choose your way to listen.
And he scores!
Whether you're at work, at the gym, or stuck in traffic, the NHL app puts you right in the action all season long. Every team, every game, everywhere you go. Download the NHL app and never miss a moment.
I'm sitting here looking at Pronger, and I'm thinking it's a 1980s TV show, where the screen is moving in the background, like the cops are riding in the car, and it's just the studio. I'm just looking at the picturesque scenery behind you on the interstate.
Hold on, it's Indiana. Picturesque scenery in Indiana? Come on now, what are you talking about?
We're in a desert, okay? So that's picturesque.
Yeah.
I just figured I was watching an Amazon Prime hockey game, Hnidy and Pronger on the panel. That's all I was doing.
There we go.
I was just, it was one after the game last night. I was watching one of my favorite shows, Parks and Rec. So there's Pawnee, Indiana. There you go.
hey, Chris, is it easier to play on the road in the Stanley Cup Final?
I think in general, in today's game, I don't think the home team has as much of an advantage, depending upon matchups. With the way these teams are now structured, there's not as big a drop off from line 1 to line 4 with respect to how good they skate and their understanding of systems and whatnot. Yes, there's going to be some skill discrepancy and hockey IQ, but from a system standpoint, not a lot. You don't see the coach scared to death that the fourth line is out against the first line. Sometimes that's a matchup they want. So that to me, I think that helps, a team going in on the road. You're not worried about, oh my God, we got to change. We got to get our top pair. We got to do this. We got to do that. A lot of times it's maybe the defensive pairing you're trying to match up. You're not so much worried about that first line. And so if you're just rolling your lines, you can get into a rhythm and a flow quicker on the road. And you're not trying to, put on a show. You're trying to win a game. And so you simplify at times when you're on the road, and you're more relaxed. You're going from the hotel to the rink, and you don't have a lot to deal with. So in that regard,
my question was based on my question actually, Shane, was more based on less distractions.
Then that's what I think. And the one time I went through this Stanley Cup scenario as a player, it was a similar situation, exact same as Golden Knights. We didn't start the same. It wasn't 1-1-1, but in 2011, Vancouver wins 2. We win 2 at home. Now we're going back to Vancouver for game 5. Well, now game 5 didn't go as well, but you have that mentality at that point. I agree. I think, today both teams are getting up. They're going back. Carolina's got to go back. They got families and this and that, and probably people in town to get set up for the game. Vegas is going back to Carolina, and they're all going to the hotel. They'll have they're together as a team, and there's only one focus. There's nothing on the outside. Now, does that play? I don't know in today's game. Does that play as much a difference for these players? Maybe, maybe not. But as probably said, I don't think road home matters as much as it gets perceived out there. I think it's all about the game, especially with the magnitude you're in now. You're into a 3-game series for the Stanley Cup. I don't care where you're playing. Put me out in Siberia. You're playing for one thing only. Shouldn't matter where you are, or what the crowd is at this point.
You're too soft for Siberia now.
Both of these teams, I think, if you had asked them in the beginning if you could play a best of 3 to win the Stanley Cup, they would sign up immediately.
Yeah.
Hey, Prongers, do you still hold a grudge against Carolina?
Yes.
It'll never go away, right?
No.
That series, you guys changed goaltenders in that series a couple of times.
We did. By the way, they did. They pulled their goalie a couple times. Cam Ward got pulled in a couple of games where we shelled him. And by the way, he wasn't even their starting goaltender. Martin Gerber was.
Mm-hmm. So Carolina's done that this year. What's your reaction to the flip and Freddie not even dressing?
Well, I think if you look at that, Brandon Bussi played a lot of games for them.
Yeah.
So they've got a lot of comfort and an understanding of how to play in front of him too. It's not like they're just grabbing a guy that hasn't played in a long time. Yes, I understand playoffs, but he played a lot throughout the course of the regular season for them. So he's not going in there cold. And I think they have, in their minds, I think they have a 1A, 1B. I don't think going into the playoffs that they thought Freddie was going to go on that type of run. And I think, much like, sometimes other teams are forced to play 2 goalies. That's why you got 2 capable NHL quality goaltenders. You never know when you're going to have to rely on the other one. Change of luck. There's all kinds of reasons why you change goalies at this stage of the playoffs. And it can be, you want a different look. He's a different look, righty, lefty, as far as catching. And, maybe they think Freddie's tired. At some point, if you look at his body of work throughout his career, there's been moments where he's been really good. And then at some point in the playoffs, he craters. And are they seeing something in his game that allows them to think that that's where he's at? And he needs a rest, or he needs a break, or needs to, recenter himself. I don't know. Rob's going to watch more video and tell us.
Shane, where would you put Carter Hart's game in this series?
I think he's made some really timely saves. I haven't minded his game. I think he's played well enough for them to win. Obviously, you can't put it all, because I think goaltending's kind of been even on both sides. To me, right. I think both teams have made pretty big errors at 4 times. And but that said, it's kind of like game 1. I remember I wasn't sitting with Millard, my goalie expert, the other one, Daren Elliott, and I said this game's going to come down to one more save. And it was Carter Hart making the save on Seth Jarvis in game 1, and Freddie Andersen letting the blocker by with Tomas Hertl. I think it's that type of series, right? It's not about, you're going to have to make and stop a ton of saves, but you got to make that timely one more save than the guy across from you. And that's kind of what this series is about. One more save at the right time. So it's, I've been fine with this game, but you're going to need one more save.
Can he be faulted on the first goal with the puck off the boards?
Yeah, I didn't like, but we've seen so many of those in this series.
No, I know, but that was just a bad start. When you talk about getting off to a bad start, making that first save is important.
Not good, not great when it goes to their best goal scorer right in front of the net either.
No, not at all. And then like the other one, you look at the power play, goes off going way wide. Goss's bear shot goes off McNabb and drops right to Stahl's stick in front. There's been some of those bounces. Yeah, I'd like to see a better play off that back wall. No question about it. I think there's been a couple of those on Hart actually in this series where come out from behind the net and he's just kind of swatting it to the corner. But you know what? There's bounces. I don't put anything. That's why I love our sport. It's a team sport, and it's tough to put it on one guy.
Yeah, what I would say is these next 3 games, or 2, if that's what it takes, the 2 victories that both teams are looking for at this stage, it's going to. I think it's going to take a goalie elevating their play and shutting it down, locking it down. Whoever's able to do that the best is, I mean, obviously it sounds cliche, but as Knight just said, they've been decent. They haven't been all world.
No, nobody's stolen the game.
Yeah. If one of them can elevate their play to that level, we're going to see that's obviously going to be the Stanley Cup winner. And one of them has the ability to. Who can it be?
Yeah. That's a really good point.
And then Can Vegas clean up, the lackadaisical play or some of those plays that we've talked about.
Yeah, it's interesting because you play with Jiggy. There hasn't been a game where you said, "Well, the goalie won the game." There hasn't been one of those yet.
And by the way, typically, as we know in the playoffs, there are games like that where you're relying on your goalie so much in some of these games to win.
Well, I mean,
coaching.
Look how many times Conn Smythe Trophy winners are goaltenders.
Yeah.
I mean, and the one thing I can guarantee you now, the Conn Smythe Trophy is not going to a goaltender this year. It's not.
No.
And when you consider Carter Hart's the first goalie in Stanley Cup Final history to allow four goals or more in every game in the first 4 games of the series.
And he's 2-2.
And he won 2 of the games.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody expected this series to be this high scoring.
No.
Did they?
No.
No, both these teams were supposed to be sound. Well, I guess Vegas during the season had their own had figured out, and we certainly care with how to play defensively. So yeah, it's been interesting to watch, especially the lead changes. Both these teams have been fairly good throughout the course of the season, locking in when they've had a lead.
People are always curious the impact of coaches. John Tortorella, Rod Brindamore, Knides and Prongs jump in here. What are they doing anything at this stage of the series? Does it belong to the players, or do you think there's adjustments still to be made?
I'm still of the old school thought, and yes, I think coaches now more than anything, it's about coaching the mind of the players. But the players, they're the ones that got to execute. It's on them. Yeah. It really is. And probably those in our day, like I played briefly with Prongs in Anaheim. I didn't look to Randy Carlyle. I looked to Prongs and the leadership of that group. That's who ran the room. That's and I think there still are voices today. I just think it's a different personality and mindset, the way players are built now, that I think, the coach, that stuff comes a little more from the coach than it used to. But overall, I still put all the weight on the players. They're the ones that make the difference. They're the ones, X's and O's, both teams. By this point, you know what you need to do. It's about who can go out there and do it better.
The one area where I think, the coach, if they can pick up a little tendency, or they can pick up, specific moments where they can put certain line combinations together to change the matchup or change, that's really at this stage the only tactical thing a coach is going to do.
Yeah.
All these players have been through everything, the myriad of injuries, and I mean, look at what Braden McNabb's now playing through and all the rest of it. Like it's all comes down to the will to win. How determined are you to get it over the finish line? Can we play a clean 60-minute game? If you're Vegas, if you're Carolina, can you impose your will and pressure and force Vegas to make those mistakes that you're capitalizing on? And and creating offensive opportunities from. And so, both teams know exactly what they have to do.
Any edge either way as we go into this best of three, Prongs?
I think, well, per your last part earlier, I don't want to say this, but I think Carolina has the edge right now. But that can quickly flip if Vegas actually, gets everybody involved and plays a full 60 minutes. Because I do believe they have the higher end of the players, in my opinion. And if those players can impose their will and their skill set on the series and in these next 3 games, maybe it only takes 2, then they should come out victorious. But if they don't, then I really like Carolina's chances, because they don't, as we've talked about relentlessly, they do not deter from the way that they play and how they play and their ability to consistently, it is rinse, repeat, wave after wave of how they play.
I think the edge, especially if we look at social media and all us experts out there, it changes game to game. So right now, the edge goes to Carolina. They won the last game, right? After game 1, Vegas was going to sweep. After game 2, Carolina's found their game. After game 3, it's going to be Vegas' series. Well, now after game 4, it's Carolina has the edge, but that all ends until we see what happens in game 5. That's the way it goes, right? I don't know if momentum carries over as much as you think game to game. I think it's in game. You got to manage it a lot more. You're allowed to reset from game to game a lot better. So we'll see what happens. But I think to Prong's point, at this point, you look at it, Carolina just won, so they're going back home. They have the edge, you just think automatically, but now it's on Vegas to swing that back in their favor and grab the edge and come back home with a 3-2 lead.
Yeah.
Wrap it up this way. Braden McNabb, what he went through between game 2 and 3 as 2 defensemen, Pronger and Knights. Like, Chris, take it away.
Yeah, I never got hit with a slap shot right here. I got hit with a slap shot right here, broke my jaw. I got hit with a stick here, broke my jaw. Kind of war wounds everywhere, but to see, I got hit in the throat with a slap shot from Lubomir Visnovsky one night. When you see a puck, when you're not seeing it, and all of a sudden you see it right here in front of your face, it is arguably the worst feeling. And I can only imagine the throbbing that he feels when the blood starts pumping and, that injury starts taking effect. I don't think people realize, the type of pain that he is in when he's playing, frankly, and what he's getting through with that injury. And I'm sure we'll find out more once this series is over, with the extent of that injury and all that he had to go through just to play.
Well, and can't forget, Millard was at Anaheim. He had another injury too. He left the game pretty severe with his leg and came back. So this isn't the first one, but first of all, probably he's a throwback. He's unique, and today, he's such a quiet, humble. He's a Saskatchewan farmer. That's what he is. Yeah. He's a guy that's going to go back. He's buying up land. He's going to farm for the rest, and that's what he is. He's quiet. He just goes out about his business. He's so smart because everybody gets on him about his skating. He moves around, but his angles, his stick. And then his durability is just incredible. And to Prong's point, someone who almost lost his eye twice, it's amazing with pucks, the same eye. It's like you freeze. You see it coming, and there's nothing you can do. A visor probably would have helped me in my day. And then someone who broke his nose 6 times and then had to get rhinoplasty when I got back on the TV just so I didn't have to look at the camera this way, so it'd be straight. I had that time. I remember 2 days, you can't breathe through your nose. Yeah. So I've had extensive work to this baby. It's pretty now, but hold
on. We'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
Shane, we'll be the judge of that.
I'm talking about the nose, not the whole thing, just the nose.
And by the way, Knights, the one thing you forgot about with Braden McNabb is his reads catching guys with their head down and his physical play. He's doing this and still playing physical.
Yeah.
know,
Well, he
that's
played
the thing.
35 minutes.
And crunch Taylor Hall.
Every time he hits somebody, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's there's pain, there's breathing, but that's playoffs, right? Like you know, we could go through 1,000. You know, everybody immediately thinks to Chara with his jaw wired shut for the playoffs. Bergeron had the punctured lung or something the one year. I think it was 2013. I know I'm naming Bruins, but those stories go on, and you remember them forever. But it's just another incredible tale of, you know, the sacrifice and why we love our sport and our athletes, because what they'll go through to lift that trophy.
Here's what might hurt the most, at least being from an insult standpoint. Braden McNabb didn't get credit for a shot block.
Why?
Because this is my interpretation
where
of
it
it.
Hit him in the face?
Yeah. Did not get credit for a shot block in that game.
Because it's going to miss a net?
Because it was going to miss the net. That was
my God.
Yeah. Is that not unbelievable?
Okay. Well. All right.
Well, don't get me into the off ice officials, because I have to read those stats every game. That's a whole other podcast.
That's another 2-hour episode.
Well, you'll still be on the road.
I finally got company.
Oh, who's there? Who do you got? Oh,
there's our buddy.
He broke into the room.
Of course, he wants to be hanging out with you.
Yeah, he's not very bright.
You hang out with a few people like that.
Yeah, we'll see you on the desk tomorrow.
Prong, safe travels, pal. Thanks, Knights.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you. Take
care.
care.
Good to see you, Prong. Take care.
Hockey.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
I love it when former teammates get together, and we didn't have there's so much going on right now. We didn't have as much room for Prongs and Knights to just get into reminiscing. But those two guys played for Randy Carlyle. They probably did a lot of talking together. About Randy.
Or could we describe as eye rolling as talking?
yeah. There'll be. I love Randy. I go way back with Randy, and the chirping and the back and forth that you would get in covering Randy as a player and then as a coach in the International League and then the National Hockey League. I really do enjoy Randy. I wouldn't have enjoyed playing for Randy.
No. My first Randy Carlyle story is I'm a college student going to broadcasting school in Toronto. One of my first assignments is to go get a interview at a Toronto Maple Leafs practice before the season starts. And I go in and I recognize a guy that's the same age as me, and he's a rookie. He's been there 2 days, and he gets interviewed. And it was Randy Carlyle.
How was he?
He was great. He was great. Yeah.
Because Randy had bite to him.
This was before he got bite. This is when he was still just a raw rookie. So,
I'll never think of Randy Carlyle. I don't know why we're down this rabbit hole, but it's fun. Remember when the Leafs did that 24/7 documentary,
and he had trouble with the toaster?
With the toaster,
Yeah.
And Phil Kessel. Oh, Randy. I'm not a very good Phil Kessel impersonation, but there's a distinct and a very recognizable delivery from Phil Kessel. Oh, Randy.
I've got a question for you. Since you're around the Stanley Cup Final and
all
beyond the game,
around.
Too many people. Yeah. How much discussion do you hear about Mike Babcock there?
Oh, it's there. and people are shocked. I think that would be the best way to put it.
Shocked that his name has come up?
Shocked that Edmonton's going that route.
Yeah, okay. Well, the only reason I ask is because, I mean, the hockey has been so good. The storylines of the games have been so good. TV ratings in the United States are really good, not so good in Canada. But having worked for the commissioner, the last thing he would want during a Stanley Cup final is a distraction. Mm-hmm. Because the focus should be on these games and these two teams. And I don't think that anybody appreciates this kind of distraction at this point.
If you're talking hockey and it's in and around the Stanley Cup Final, and you got a fan base that isn't as engaged as the Canadian audience, maybe it brings people back to the game a little bit more for to see what people are saying about the Mike Babcock situation with the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, and I think I think we're a ways away from getting some sort of decision between the Players Association requesting the NHL do an investigation, which the NHL has agreed to do. And the investigation is basically a continuation of what went on in Columbus. Because after the Blue Jackets and Mike agreed to part ways, the NHL dropped its investigation. And so now, at the request of the PA, that investigation will now reconvene.
It's an odd process.
So it's strange. Well, but the rationale from the league perspective was we didn't think Mike Babcock was coming back. We didn't think he was going to coach again. So there's no point in dragging any of this through the mud again. The fact that, and I mean, 3 weeks ago, I had people close to Mike telling me that he had retired. He had no interest in coaching.
The quote to Drager was, "I'm happy in retirement."
Yeah, and so that to me is what has happened. Is it's going to be a fascinating process to watch, and who knows how long it's going to take.
Well, and for it to already be down a certain length of the path, it sounds like Babs has already talked to the players or some of the players with Edmonton. He's certainly spoken to Daryl Cates. He's in the process of negotiating a deal or a framework of a deal is in place for them to ask the National Hockey League. Like it's everything's. It's not like they're starting with can you do the investigation and clear him, and then we'll work on hiring him. They've hired him pending the investigation, which is a little circuitous. Circuitous?
What was that word?
I can't say it. It's one of those words that I try to say every time, and I blow it every time.
Do not use words larger than marmalade. You don't have the problem then, you know. So, it's going to be one that it will last, I think, through the final and probably through the draft even, and we'll have to see what happens. And then
has Edmonton not put themselves into a corner now? Like what if it doesn't happen? And you're trying to keep Connor McDavid. Like, where do you go then?
Well, does Bruce Cassidy get back in the mix?
Well, they asked for permission or were looking at other candidates before they even fired Chris Knobloch, and now they're going down this path. It's been a strange, less than smooth process.
That is a fair way to put it. And
process.
And who knows how long it's going to be? That to me is a big part of this. Is that we just don't know how long this is going to take.
Do you think Edmonton has their coach in place before or after Chris Pronger arrives at his destination?
Oh no! The coach in Edmonton will be long after Chris gets out of the car.
Because Prongs looked pretty comfortable. Like he wasn't nervous. Like he was getting close to wherever he was heading.
Listen,
still
when
going.
when you're sitting in the back seat of the limousine, and you're espousing your great knowledge of the game of hockey,
You look pretty comfortable
you're living,
there.
You're living
That was
the good
Prongs
life.
in a nutshell.
You're living the
Prongs in a
good life,
nutshell.
Yeah.
I miss those days. Never had them. We'll talk to you next time. What day is today? Wednesday? I lose track of days.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got a game on Thursday and then another
Sunday.
travel day.
Remember, game 6 now is Sunday, not Saturday, right? So there's 2 days off. So you can rest up.
Well, Friday I'm headed back from Raleigh.
Yeah.
So
we'll find you on Friday somewhere. We'll find you. I am going to talk to Larry Robinson, and we'll find you somewhere.
Can you say hi to Larry for me? I don't know Larry. I don't know Larry like I know other people or pretend to know other people. I fully admit I don't know Larry, but I want to know Larry. Okay? I really, in my heart of hearts, I'm being as honest as I possibly could. This isn't screwing around. I want to know Larry Robinson. I want to talk to him. I want to pick his brain. I want to be in Larry's company. And every time I'm around him, I get too nervous to go up and talk to him.
But you're not nervous when you talk. I might, but I might not.
Yeah, I really do. I admire that man.
See, my problem is I don't know if I get nervous around anybody.
I do. There's a certain Wayne Gretzky. He could walk by. I'd talk to him all day long. I have no issue with that. And there's a ton of high rollers that I have no issue talking to. Larry, there's a certain, I don't know.
He's got an aura. There's no question.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got an aura. There's no question.
It's just so cool. And I'm intimidated by the greatness as both a player and a coach. And and the other thing is, he looks good. Like he's a handsome guy.
Wait, do you want a date or something? What's going on here?
No, but as a good-looking fella, I appreciate handsome people.
Hold on, the way you said that sentence is that you're saying you're a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
We got.
No, you heard that right.
We got to go.
Good-looking guy. Go my hair out. We'll talk to you next time with Larry Robinson on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.